At BS, I was in the classroom. I was in the school at BS probably 3 or 4 times a week. So anyway, that's
You I remember, I mean, obviously, I remember when I was at Mater Dei, you coming to say mass when I was a
right.
student, when I was a student. I always
Right.
remember your haircut.
Yeah,
The Father John hair.
hadn't changed much, has it?
I mean, you still got it,
Yes.
why not keep it the same, don't change the formula. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I remember at seeing you there. I remember how awesome you are with kids and how much, just interaction right here with Jack and Millie, you light up, because you're a kid at heart or something like that.
Well, I do love the kids, no question.
The one of my favorite quotes from the Bible is from Matthew. No one want to say?
What about that?
The one I'm thinking. The one I'm thinking of.
I would say, let the children come to me.
Yeah. That, and you have to reform yourself to the heart of a child or enter the kingdom of heaven.
That's right. Unless you're a childlike, you won't go to heaven. That's right.
Exactly right. I mean, I always think that obviously being a teacher and being engaged to 4 beautiful kids and stuff, we teach them, but it's definitely a two-way street.
Yeah.
We might teach them the X, Y's, and Z's, where they teach us how to live.
They teach a lot. A lot. You learn a lot for your kids. You learn a lot. Absolutely.
So you're over at BS now, and we're live. So it's Father John, Monsignor John Ensler, but everyone knows him as Father John. When did you get that new title, Monsignor?
I really have to think about it. It's about 30 years ago, basically. It's a long time back. Maybe 25. I was at Mercy at the time. So it's sometime after 1990, 94 or so. And, the Monsignor thing is nice, but it's an honor.
Oh, it's a mouthful.
Well, it's also, it's an honor that frankly, a lot of priests deserve and don't get it. So I have a little bit of, I don't like Monsignor because I think it sets us apart from just being a priest. I want to be a priest. I don't need any honors. I don't need any recognition. Be a priest. And some guys who are not Monsignors are much better priests than I am. So I don't think it has the significance that it should.
Give me 1 minute. I got cartoons on in the background.
Okay.
All right. And also father and, being you like kids and stuff, father's appropriate.
Yeah, well, there's actually a passage of scripture, Bill, where the Lord says, don't call anyone your father. Don't call anyone your, and don't give people titles. And not we, because we do use that. So it's almost the word said it, we do use it. But there's a nice sense of saying you are a priest is like a father, a priest like a shepherd. A priest is supposed to be doing the work of bringing people close to God. That's why, some of the scandal in the church, some of the terrible things have happened. And so very few people have done it, but it really, really, really hurts us because, we're expected to be above all that and live lives of faithfulness. We're not perfect, but when we really turn away from what's right, we really hurt the church.
Yeah, 100%. And talk about all eyes are on priests, and all eyes would be on people that are ordained and live or strive to live the holiest and highest life. And it's unfortunate, maybe part of the human condition, that people want to try to tear those or look for flaws in that, and how quickly people will jump on that. Not to belittle some of the stuff that's happened with a few of the priests, but it's oftentimes people try to tear down those that are the highest of virtue.
I think, the church speaks for things that the world doesn't always agree with. The church speaks for life always. Some people think that we ought to be more open to abortion, open to euthanasia, open to things. The church will speak about sexual mores and say basically you keep good sexual lives, and basically there's a integrity there. Because we do that, we put ourselves kind of up and saying we think we've got a moral code should we live. When we break the code, any of us break the code, it really negates that message. In fact, I would say the church right now has lost a lot of moral authority. It has lost it. We got to get it back, but we've lost it because people say, why would I listen to that priest or that doctrine when I know that the other part is not always what it should be either? It's not always fair. Exactly. You're right about people trying to tear it down, but it's also, there's been truth. The fact is the high standard has been set. The pedestal's in place. We have to live it. We have to live it.
Yeah, when people start telling you sort of like not telling or professing or telling you how to live, and this is what
Right.
you should do, and these are the sacraments, these are commandments, don't do this, don't do that, or do this, do that, and then you see them not do it. I mean, they're human. Everyone's human. Everyone's
Right.
flawed. No one's Jesus. Jesus is the only perfect
Right.
entity ever to walk. But and yeah, and then they start putting the finger in the other direction, you know.
But Bill, you have the same issue as a teacher.
Yeah,
I mean,
same deal.
There's no
Yeah.
difference. If
Yeah,
one
I
of you
know.
guys, one of you people modern day does something wrong, but whatever, it could be anything. You're the moral standard
Yeah.
that people expect of you has been broken. It's not to say, again, no one's supposed to be perfect. I think the real issue is that we're not perfect, but we have to be willing to correct ourselves and keep doing the best we can. I don't profess to be at all close to perfect, but I will say this: I do my best every day. I promise you that. But and I fail sometimes, but I do my best every single day to be the kind of person I'm called to be.
And then I read the Rob Clark's write up on you for the Resilient Worker, and do you still at the end of the day think about how you helped people? What was the line? How what did I do today to help people, or could I have done
Yeah.
more?
So at Catholic Charities, where we have basically serve about almost 200,000 people a year, we have about 900 employees, and I tell our staff, I say, listen, it's a big job, and frankly, with that many people, it's changed the world. Yes, but don't judge yourself how much you did today in terms of what you did that magnificently changed the world. You go to bed at night, ask yourself one question: did I help somebody today improve their life? Hope you did more than that. But if you did that, go to sleep and sleep comfortably. I did something today that changed somebody's life, or did my best to help somebody's life. And that could be housing, it could be food, it could be a smile, it could be a willingness to sit and listen to somebody. Same for a teacher. Do you make in your life today with these, how many boys you taught today? Did somebody be touched by your actions, by your life, for example, is better for it. If you did that, sleep well, baby, sleep well.
That's a day well spent. I actually gave, that reminds me, I gave the eulogy for my grandfather back in 2003. And one of the lines that I found when I was trying to write was, as a like a happy or well spent day brings well spent sleep, a well spent life brings happy death. So
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. Well done. Yeah,
it's absolutely. And then sleep good, get up, do it all over again, huh?
Exactly. But I get up, Bill, every morning.
What time you get up?
I sleep well. When I get up, I got fire in the belly. I do. I want to do good. I want to do a good job. I mean, rarely. I mean, like almost like never get up saying, "No, I'm just too tired," or I don't want to go to work today, or no. It's I want to go make a difference today, and that's a gift, frankly. God gave me grace from God.
It's a God-given gift. Like, I mean, I've had that in different times of my life, that you're really excited about whatever you're into, and that you might set an alarm, but you wake up before the alarm because you're so excited about what you ended with the previous day and how you're going to continue that today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that is a God-given sort of the Holy Spirit fire. I always think of that, that some people, you, me, are lucky to have, And I mean, I also think it might be, I had this conversation the other day, that like you have like a wick inside of you and it's just waiting to be lit, and you just got to figure out how to light it. I think everyone has the potential to be like that. I'm not saying that's the paragon of what everyone should strive for, but I think it's really important to find that fire that gets you out of bed on your own in the morning.
Well, if this past Tuesday, we're in our daily scriptures for Mass, we're reading from Matthew 5, chapter 5, up to 8. It's was the Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah.
And on Tuesday we had "You Are the Light of the World."
Mhm.
You know, you don't put your light in a bushel basket; you put it out for people to see.
That's right.
And that I love that phrase about, you know, you got to light the wick, you know, because that turns the light on, and then
Mhm.
let that light shine. Let that light shine, and that's important. We do it well.
I mean, fire is such a symbol throughout the Gospels, right?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. And I remember when I was at Mass down in Florida, in Palm Beach. You know this guy Bishop Mulvey?
I know of him. I don't know him well, but I know him. Yeah. Right.
It's so funny that when I was, maybe again, like God working in mysterious ways, when I was exploring the faith and coming into the Catholic Church, I was flying down to Florida to visit with my parents over a break, and I sat next to these two older gentlemen dressed in black. I was like, you guys are priests, right? Or you work for the FBI or something. And they're like, yeah, we're retired priests from like Connecticut or Massachusetts, somewhere up there. And they go in down to Florida, and they hook up with Sacred Heart Parish in Palm Beach and help them say Mass and help them with the
Right.
church and everything. And such a nice guy, funny guy, Mulvey.
Yeah.
And I went to Mass one time. I think it might have been Easter around that time. He described the flame as Jesus, and the unique element of the flame is it's always changing. It's never the same.
Yeah.
And but what always remains is that it's there. You know, it doesn't. Don't let it get blown out. You know.
Well, the interesting thing is, I think, you know, how did the Lord appear in the Old Testament? He often appeared as fire. You know, God appeared as fire. You know, when they did sacrifices, and sacrifice the lamb, whatever, fire.
Mhm.
And it was important to them. And then at Pentecost, which is 50 days after Easter, how did the Lord appear? In two symbols: wind and fire, basically. And you imagine being up in a room, and this is the Lord's now left them, and they're in the same place where the Last Supper took place,
Mhm.
the same place where the Lord first appeared to them after resurrection. And they're there, and all of a sudden, basically, this room, doors are locked, it says, windows are shut. They're afraid it could happen to Jesus, happen to them. And in that room comes a wind, and the wind's blowing. Imagine we're sitting right here, right now, talking, and the wind's blowing, and but the door's shut, the windows are shut. Where's that coming from? And then you look above your head, there's a fire, and from that fire come tongues to touch each one of them. And the idea is so that Jesus, if you will, this is the Spirit of Jesus, Spirit of God, coming and actually touching the hearts and the heads of those who are his followers. And then they're changed. I mean, talk about a fire being lit. Peter, who had been afraid, denied the word 3 times, goes out, the doors are flung open, windows are flung open. He's out, he starts preaching. He preaches about Jesus who died and rose. It says that 3,000 people became believers that day. Peter speaks. The fire of Jesus to the Holy Spirit. You know, wow. You know, unbelievable.
I heard, all right, to shift a little bit, but keep on the fire topic, that the most important invention of all time, arguably, is fire, because before we knew early humans knew how to harness fire, they would still eat animals and stuff, but they'd eat it raw,
Right.
and their stomachs were capable of processing it because they did it over millennia,
Right.
resulting in their stomachs having incredible digestive powers and also double the size of our stomach today. When they realized they could put it over flame, that became like an external stomach, such that the stomach over, again, millennia, atrophied because it didn't need to work as hard, so that it shrank about half the size and allowed for the brain to grow about double in size.
Maybe I need some of that fire for my stomach. I need some help there. You know, we're all fighting that battle against the weight. Maybe that's a problem.
The COVID 10, I put on about COVID 10, I think. It's not because I don't work out, but it's just it's the sedentary, you know, it's just something that I overlook: walking to get in your car, getting in a car, getting out of the car, walking into the church, going here and there when you're teaching, you know, trying to herd cats and stuff. But you said that I think during COVID, you got into walking. You did hour
Yeah.
walks, right? Something like that before dinner. You still
Right.
do that?
Well, I had open heart surgery last August, if you knew that. And of course, they want you to walk. And so I was walking a lot. I was walking at least 4 or 5 miles a day, and either before or after dinner. Sometimes I couldn't get it all done. I would go half an hour walk and come back to another half hour. And the neighborhood is great over here by Seaport Thomas.
Yeah, it's great.
So
It's
a
beautiful.
lot of hills. I mean,
Yeah.
too many hills sometimes, so maybe a lot of hills.
Yeah.
But then after, I don't know what happened. Well, then I had another problem. My hips started bothering me, so I couldn't walk for a while. So I'm starting to build back up again. So the reality is, I'm not walking 4 miles. I'm walking closer to maybe a mile and a half. But what you said, Bill, earlier though, about what I miss is, and I realize is, I was burning off probably I don't know how many calories, but I was walking 6, 7, 8,000 steps a day, just normal, and just going to church, going to St. Bart's, come back to Rectory, going downtown. Well, I was probably doing only 1 or 2,000 steps without serious plan to walk. So you got to get it in. Yeah.
So when I played lacrosse and stuff in college, they had a term. It's called hidden conditioning. Instead of getting on the line and running sprints just to run sprints, they would do these like these drills that just contained a lot of running in it. You didn't really know it, but you're burning a lot of calories. You're getting in really good shape. Well, I guess chasing a ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I think it's always more fun. I mean, walking with somebody else is more fun.
Yeah.
I like to play tennis still. I'm not playing as much as I used to, but I'm playing because why? Because it's again, you're getting the steps in, you're running, but you're not. It's not just, if you will, one line to one line. There's competition. Want to win the point. All that makes a difference. All that makes a difference.
You follow French Open at all?
I have followed a little bit here and there. I understand that Djokovic and Nadal are playing late this morning. That's going to be a big match.
Oh, great. Thanks for saying that.
It's a semifinal, I think, not a final, semifinal.
So it's worthy of a final, though, right?
Absolutely.
I think Nadal's the 11th seed, I believe. He's the king of clay. So
he is. I think he'll win again. I think he's so good.
What is it about, like, I don't know. You want to see superstars kind of like almost test the bounds of what it means to be human. I think it's also kind of like a human condition. You want to see the 12-year-old like dunk or something crazy, the highest vertical, the big bench press, the longest drive, the tennis player that plays into his 50s, which I don't think it really exists at the highest level. But people love Federer. People love Nadal, just to take tennis for example. And it's maybe like they cling to same thing maybe with Tiger Woods. Like, you cling to maybe growing up with them and you don't want them to leave, it's a comfort thing.
Yeah, well, I think that's true. I'm a huge fan of Federer. Federer's now 40 years old.
Yeah.
He's 40. He's almost at 50, like you just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And, but they're all, they're all this, I watch tennis now. Tennis is so different. When I was a kid, I watched tennis. It was a game where the best athletes would hit the ball hard, they come to the net and put the ball away within 2 shots.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like a boxing match.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the body blows.
Mm-hmm.
Bang, 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 and it might take 8, 10. That's amazes me that these guys have the endurance. I couldn't play one point like that, not one. What those guys play. If I could hit the ball, I couldn't. They're just like the body blows. They're back and forth. They run you back and forth. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what those guys do.
Conditioning, how skilled they are. We were talking about baseball earlier, just how almost across the board, all sports have just been refined. Like it went from like an ore to like a precious metal. Even like lacrosse is my sport, and it's like the game now is so much faster, so much more skilled.
Yeah.
I started in 7th grade, and if I started in 7th grade now, I'd be way behind the ball.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So my nephew Billy, he's now married. He's 30 years old, but he went to St. John's and he didn't want to play lacrosse. And he played, I think, one at the end. He played like once. He's a good athlete, but he played maybe senior year. But he went to St. Louis University, and out there they didn't have lacrosse. He became one of their best players out there. but imagine he started playing when he was 10 years old. I mean, he really didn't want to play football. He didn't want to play. And then all of a sudden, basically, he became kind of it was almost like a club team became a varsity sport, but still, it's just a game you got to start early. You got to play all the time. Same with tennis.
Yeah.
You got to start. If you don't start early, I started when I was in late high school, late grade school. You got to start early.
Well, I think that's kind of a vote for exposing the kids to as many sports as possible when they're young, because you never know it's almost like it should be a kind of responsibility, not just sports, but just like as just a varied life, as best you can, a cultured life, like a Whitman sampler, and to find the chocolate that they like the most in a way, and then foster that,
Well, it's
easier said than done, but.
Yeah. One of the things about COVID, I think, is that a lot of people are deciding, and maybe for families, it's good. We can't do all these sports. I read the other day an article about a mother who said, I love the fact I'm home for dinner with my kids. I'm not driving all over the place, basically. And we have, the kids are involved in one sport per season. A lot of times you get kids involved in 2 or 3 sports. So I agree with what you're saying, though. The more, the better. And that's what I grew up with. It was by season. You played football in the fall, you played basketball in the winter, you played baseball in the summer, you played tennis. And it was 4 or 5 sports. Now, almost like sometimes by 12 years old, 11 years old, 10 years old, okay, concentrate on this. This is your sport. And it's kind of, you've lost that chance to experience other things as well.
Yeah, it should be a recreation. It should help you point to, getting yourself to. I love the phrase "get to heaven."
Yeah,
they're all stepping stones. But I mean, look, again, let's take lacrosse. But if you can focus and become a really good attackman and something like that, you could get a scholarship in college that could help with the family's financials. So, you see it from both sides.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think sometimes people might overlook the fact that, if you're playing lacrosse in the spring, you play football in the fall, they're gonna it's a rising tide will lift all boats,
Yeah.
One benefits the other.
You talk about getting in shape, I think about somebody like Luke McCarron, Luke,
yeah,
who's great football player at Gonzaga. I think he ended up playing mostly lacrosse at Brown, but it's a great athlete, and basically, but football in high school and lacrosse, I think, helped each other. Better athlete. It became better, but now, and get to college level now, maybe you have to make it more focused. But that's a great young kid and a great. He's out now. I think he's with the Marines. I think he's headed for the Marines. He's just going to I think to boot camp, whatever. So he's
I taught him 8th grade history, maybe. And when he graduated, excuse me, I don't know if he's still into fly fishing, but I gave him this book. Probably the movie's more famous than the book. A River Runs Through It.
I love that movie. Love that movie.
Such a good movie. And how it's narrated by Robert Redford.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it's like the water washes over the rocks, and on the bottom of the rocks, it's the voice of God, and then there's a river runs. It's just a magical movie.
I had some friends at Montana, and basically I actually saw that when the movie was shot. Just beautiful water. I mean, it's beautiful in person as it was, of course, in the movie. Just gorgeous. It wasn't just cinematic skills. It was this is spectacular.
The actual land, independent of the cameras, speaks for itself.
Exactly. Good stuff.
And oftentimes when you get something on film, you can't really capture it. But now the technology is pretty good. Ever try to take a picture of the moon? How's that go? It doesn't go well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
it's harvest moon. Let's take a picture.
Doesn't work. Yeah,
sometimes just now we're in such a click sort of culture that you want to get it on your phone, but then you sort of lose the in the moment sort of experience, but it's in here,
Yeah.
So, but how many times you put things in here and you don't really actually go back and look at them,
Yeah. I've been on many trips over the years. I've led trips to Europe, to the Holy Land, to Australia. I have pictures. I never look at them. I put them aside. Say, it gives me. I'll do this when I get old. Well, I'm not. I guess I'm getting old, but I never look at them. I should. I did a little bit during COVID. I
Yeah.
did a little bit during COVID, not really enough. Just so it's kind of like that was a respite. But so I've actually stopped taking pictures because I find when you're taking pictures, you're worried about the picture. I want to get the whole panorama, and I may buy a postcard for one, but I'm not going to spend all my time honing in on this. You basically miss out on, as you say, the beauty of the whole panorama.
The full picture.
Yeah.
A counter to that might be I'm pretty, like, one of my rituals is at the turn of the calendar year, usually December, January. I'm usually down in I'm on vacation, usually visiting my mom in Florida, and any vacation gives you some time to step back and reflect. And on the airplane down, I usually grab my phone and look back at all the photos from the past year.
I love it.
And I might have 4 on this source, and I delete the ones that are just repeats, and put a little folder into the ones that I might want to actually print out. And then you just relive the year through the photos. It's just kind of fun.
That's a neat thing. That's a great thing.
Fun thing. And then you look at, then you think about your life. And you're like, all right, December. Back in March, I was doing this. How did I feel then? About X, Y, and Z, my job or my personal life. How do I feel now? Have I made progress? I remember having this thought in April. Well, did I act on that thought, or maybe it was the wrong thought? Anyway, it's good reflection, I think.
Nice thoughts, nice thing. That's good.
Yeah. So talk to me. So what are you doing today? You're heading downtown Catholic Charities to your headquarters?
So today I was gonna actually go down early. I was actually gonna hopefully meet you down there for a while at one point. No problem.
Another time.
No problem. Then I was going to spend some time with this that Zoom call, which I could have done downtown or done here with Luminous Health at the Doctors Hospital, and we have a partnership with them. We've got a thing called the Mona Center, where they've actually got a medical clinic in one of our buildings down in Camp Springs, and we have dental there. We have pro bono legal, pro bono immigration law. So it's one of our centers, but that's why I joined with this board, because to keep that relationship strong. And then after that, I've got actually have somebody who's worked for us for years. She's been in charge of called Sanctuaries for Life. Her name is Michelle Williams, and she's going to retire today. But for years, she's been with us, and frankly, her ministry has saved lots of babies, because these are women who come to us who don't know what to do when they can't afford a baby. The most Latino, they can't afford a baby. They don't have. They get pregnant by surprise. They're whatever, and they got options. Well, the options, abortion is one, but we find a way to give them what they need in terms of medical help, certainly, but also basic financial stuff to keep them going. So I don't know how many babies she's saved and helped over the years, how many mothers, but I bet it's in the thousands that she's helped through her effort. And she's retiring today, so I'll do that. And I'm going to have a tour of the library, Martin Luther King Library. I've been waiting for that for a while because we want to partner with them. They're across the street from our office. So we're on G Street. Martin Luther King Library was right across the street from us. And there's going to be some great partnership there. We're going to have a dinner next Wednesday night for the homeless. It's a cookout. And I've talked to them about having this dinner under their portico. They've got a portico, or basically an overhang in front of the library. It's probably 20 feet deep, maybe 25 feet deep. And if it rains or snows, even when it's hot, it's hard to have dinners because it's so, these are homeless people that give them a wonderful meal, but they got to eat on the curb, or they got to eat it on some step, they got to eat it leaning against a building. So this is important to me today to make the relationship with the library stronger, so that we can hopefully work out a long-term deal as it proceeds to say, okay, we're going to be here maybe every holiday, hopefully eventually every Wednesday. The meal will be here with tables set up, with people to sit down and enjoy the chance to have a decent meal in the company of their friends. So it's important.
I think it's very important. Breaking bread around a table is a part of a community, obviously. There's a reason why families have family dinners. It's so important to do that instead of being in front of a TV, just to talk about your day and tell a joke or tell a story. And then that inevitably, I think how the brain works can jump to something else that someone wants to talk about and probably wouldn't have talked about if we weren't sitting around the table. And that could be a really important thing, or it could be trivial, but you never know. But I think we are all social creatures, in that that's the thing about COVID. I think it's so anti-human to be isolated.
Yeah.
I think it's in our God created template to be around other people, for us to be our best selves. And what you're doing with the homeless to allow them to sit among their peers, and eat and tell stories and talk. You never know what might come of it. They might organically solve some of their woes just by talking with other people without even your direct intervention.
Correct. Well, one of the principles of social justice, the dignity of every human person and the dignity of every human life. And, people think we're talking about some major, political or moral issue. No, I'm talking about just the way we treat people. Every person's dignity. So when I walk downtown and I notice people sitting against the wall, or I notice people basically sitting on a grate, because they're trying to keep warm. These are real people. These are human beings. But we walk by them as if they're a piece of brick. We walk by them as just another rock over there, just an inanimate object. And what if that you just said about you can actually sit down and talk, or be talked to, or be listen. It's so human. I worry about frankly with the Eucharist. We're coming back to church, pretty soon in terms of getting back. Everybody, we're getting better and better at it. But basically, I'm at my first full Mass Mater Dei, the last Mass of the year. That was just a week ago. It's the first time we're all together in over a year, and that was great. We were doing a lot by Zoom before that. But the reality is that community and church as well. Watching the Mass live stream, it's good, but not as good as being together and having the experience of going through the Eucharist. I mean, imagine the Last Supper was by live stream. Basically, the Lord did it. There were all these people, there's somebody in Capernaum, there's somebody over there. It's being together,
and it's the actual receiving of the body.
Exactly.
Without that, there's no Catholic Church, right?
You're right. I mean, it's
that's you guys.
The heart of our belief, absolutely. Yeah.
But without the essence of the liturgy of the Eucharist, the liturgy of the Word kind of carried the torch through the COVID.
Well, we made it through, but now it's back.
Say it again.
We made it through, but now it's time to come back. So, and I think what's going to happen, I think, I am worried about, the younger generation. I think that they don't have the same roots that come with, a number of years of practicing this faith. I'm not saying, I hope that they'll get that experience. I hope the Mater Dei, for instance, continue to give them that basic, experience of church religion, so that they'll be part of their life forever. I think it does, by the way. I think it will.
I mean, Mater Dei couldn't be any more popular right now. So people yearn for that experience, the Catholic education, traditional educational model, with the Catholic leading at the front of it. So, and all we can do, you, me, whoever believes in this sort of philosophy, lifestyle, is just to keep doing what we're doing, keep going to bed and realizing that you help lives and living the mission.
Yeah. You went to St. Bart's, Billy, for a while, and you'd be shocked to see that the school, it was once probably maybe 300 or 400 kids, went down to 140 2 years ago. We almost had to close.
I remember that.
But it wasn't making it financially. We have 184 people now registered for next year. So it went from 140, a year and a half, whatever. And basically the school is on great feet right now, great foundation. And the good news is that you just said about it's Catholic, it's community, it's value-based. Others. So we're real excited about that. That's true of a lot of local. Mercy had the same experience. I think little fires experience, not all of them, but many of our local Catholic schools during COVID, when public schools closed or weren't able to keep up with it with demand because of size. Catholic schools did a great job, and now most of them are raised the bar, which is great. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's one of the odd sort of positive things that comes out of a large negative thing. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
right.
there's a I think the universe maybe even is full of opposites, and
Yeah.
that might help for everything to stay together. You know, but
But
whenever you see a good thing, there's probably going to be a downside. Whenever there's a bad thing, there's probably going to be almost without a
right.
doubt. You know,
You got to look for those things. When something good, you got to be careful not to be, if you will, get on that high mountain and forget there's people owe you that basically are need help. And on the other hand, when you see the bad things, you say, "There's an opportunity. There's an opportunity to make a difference." You know, basically, we for Catholic education, nobody won the pandemic. Nobody won that. People still suffered, but what do we gain from it? Maybe we gained a whole other appreciation for the gift we have, which is modern day St. Bart's teaching good, solid Catholic values.
amen. I got a few hard questions for you, so buckle
Okay.
up. All right.
Okay, go on. Okay.
What was your favorite food when you were a child?
Actually, hamburgers, cheeseburgers.
Yeah, yeah.
Love them. Love them.
Still high on those?
Actually, I'd rather a cheeseburger than a steak.
With
I-
ketchup or plain or some dressing or some.
Use a little ketchup maybe, but just
I'm kind of with you on that.
yeah. I'm not, frankly, I'm not the best example of good eating because I eat on the run all the time.
Mhm.
Not on the run in terms of fast food restaurants, but I like to walk in my kitchen here. What can I grab and eat and walk out again? I'm not generally, and it's not good. I don't just sit down and eat. I
Yeah.
generally, even I eat standing up. Now, if I got a meal to go to, of course. So anyway, I enjoy I enjoy burgers. It's always been good all my life. Yeah.
What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite song or band?
Well, when I was growing up, it was the Beatles, basically. And the song I love for the Beatles was Yesterday. It's a beautiful song, basically just talking about it's almost a melody. I think Paul McCartney sang it. So that, I was in when the Beatles came out, it was 1968. No, 68. And I'm sorry, it was 63. And I was in high school. I was a junior. And they were with me all the way through college. So now today, I was a big fan of Neil Diamond for a while. Neil Diamond was a big fan of Neil Diamond his way. Today, I don't have a favorite group. I enjoy good music though, and I enjoy the gift it gives to kind of think about the words, and I like music that has a little bit of beat to it as well. But so I'm
Because you got rhythm.
yeah, rhythm, exactly. A little bit of rhythm. That's good. That's right. I'm not sure I have rhythm, but they have music.
Somebody's got rhythm, do you have a favorite quote? It might change, any quote that you heard.
Well, here's one. I got a couple quick ones. One is Mark Twain said, "You never can tell the look of a frog just how far I can jump." It's about potential, and I can just picture Mark Twain seeing a frog in the Mississippi River there, basically, and wondering how far. And that's what I think we have with people. When I married couples, I talk engaged couples. I say, "How far can you jump?" That's one of my favorites. So they deal with potential like that one. Another one I've used more recently, I like basically is there's two things you have to learn basically in life. One is there is a God. The second is it's not you. And if you learn those two things, you got one of the basic lessons of life learned. That's a famous one. I take that one too. And my most important one is always say yes, except when you always say yes, except when you just can't. So you only say no when you have to, but otherwise it's always yes. Or your first response to people ask for something, you say yes. I can tell you, Bill, that a lot of people don't have that attitude. The first response is no. First response is no. And it's just kind of no. I can't. No. What if the response is yes, and then you have some no's too. There's some no's, but that's not your first response. And I love that about Catholic Church. We have T-shirts that say Catholic Church. We say yes. So those are three that I would like call those.
I need one of those T-shirts. I think the whole yes idea is like a open-mindedness or a growth mindset. There's a really good book, you might have already come across it. Yes is the answer. What's the question?
Yeah, I've seen that. And that
Yeah.
red X, yeah, it's good. Yeah.
And I think about it a lot. Number one, by saying yes, it kind of disarms the person who comes to you, and he can maybe a little nervous. He's going to get shut down. So you're empathetic in a way. Is that you're entering into his sort of mindset, his or her, and then there's also the I think there's the quote that goes like, how do we get to yes, or how to help me get to yes. So if you're a thinker, like it can almost anything we can have a positive conclusion, but it might be a little bit different path than you expected. The kid that says, hey, let's go to McDonald's. Sure. But first we got to do some chores, something like that,
Right.
But it's you're right when you say that. It's amazing how many people are not necessarily yes first.
Yeah. So I find a lot of praise, Frank. I hate to say, but if you have an attitude of saying yes, then when somebody comes, you just mentioned somebody comes to the door. Frankly, people come to us who are not Catholic. They're the future spouse of somebody who is Catholic. They're nervous. They're Jewish. They're no faith at all. They're atheists, and they don't. What's this priest going to say to me? And if they find that basically that you're open to them. I've got 2 weddings coming up of a Jew and a Catholic coming. One's this next weekend. One's in about 3 months. We're making great progress because again, let's work this out. Let's work with that rabbi. Let's make it work out. It can work out. Yes, make it work.
In the center of the essence of most, I should say, the essence of most all faiths is love, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We know what St. John says. St. John says God is love. That's the whole deal. God is love.
And the math language is if you ever seen is, that means an equal sign.
Yeah.
And that's pretty simple right there.
Yep. These are simple concepts. These are simple concepts, and we just try to live them. That's right.
Yeah, that's like the whole poster, like everything I really needed to know I learned in kindergarten.
Yeah.
They're simple by nature, but it can be hard in practice.
Yeah. I've stolen a couple of those quotes. I've said, everything I learned about God, I learned during Advent. I've used that one because, I remember Advent as a kid, all the things we did, Advent wreath and Kris Kringle and Christmas crib and all. You learn a lot about God, so a lot of times everything I learned about God, I learned in modern day. Probably true. Many people, everything I learned about is important. I learned at my parents' knees. It's good stuff.
Thanks for doing this. We could wrap it up, and you got a busy Friday. But I really appreciate you talking with me.
But I enjoyed it very much. And if any help else, let me know. If you need help with your bus sack, let me know about that too. I'm sure I can help you if you need some help. Okay.
You're awesome. You live up to the idea of like saying yes. So I emailed you maybe a month ago about this thing, and I'm like, I don't know, Father John says like maybe the busiest guy in DC. And you said, I'd love to do it. Let's figure out a date, So keep living exactly what you're saying, because you're an inspiration.
That's the plan, Bill. Thank you. Good work. Have a great summer. We'll see you. Have a great summer.
Back at you. I hope to see you soon.
Okay, thanks. God bless, Bill. Bye-bye.
God bless. Thank you.